I'm gonna record this just so that way I've got it handy. All right. So the first thing to think about when you're creating your social media profiles is you want to try to reserve the same name across as many platforms, whether or not you're going to be using them initially, just because you never know where your customers are going to kind of want to go. I mean, Facebook overtook MySpace from back in the early 2000s and 90s. You know, one day something will overtake Facebook. So it's just a matter of kind of being ahead of that. There is a site that I like to use called Namechk.com. And I'm going to put that in the chat window just because it's name and then the letters C, H, and K. And if you're trying to think of a name or something to do, let's do, you can do a search for this to find out, one, if you haven't already registered a domain name, is it available? And then two, is it something that you can get the same thing on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, and Yelp, and that's about as far down this list as I would get. You don't worry about these others. Google Plus and YouTube are actually the same company now. Google owns them, which is why it's really good is if you've got video content that you're wanting to add to your site or you need to upload or host somewhere. I would recommend hosting it on YouTube because you get brownie points for playing in the Google ecosystem. All right, let's do a name test here. Think of something fun. Yeah, absolutely. Give me a suggestion for what you're thinking of. And we'll plug it in here and see if this will work. Haha. All right. So BB&W Realty. And then I'm going to hit enter. We'll run a search and see. It's thinking about it. It's doing domain search. It looks like there may already, there was just an error with YouTube. But chances are if it's available on Google Plus, it's going to be available on YouTube as well. But I know YouTube changed their rules that you can reserve the name, have it be like YouTube / whatever your username is, only if you've got like 100 subscribers to your channel or something like that. I don't know. But the good news is you can do Facebook, Twitter, so this would be one, and the domain's available, so that is a win in my book. And if you've purchased your site with us, you do get a domain credit that you can use, so I would contact our support team about getting that registered. And if your site's in the process of being built, the domain's usually the last step of the puzzle before your site's live. So you can either do that now, but I wouldn't start marketing it until the site design is fully complete. Or you can just hold off, and then once you're ready to make it live, you just go in, add the domain, call our support team. They can help you with that at that point, and you're good. What we can do from this site is go to, Facebook. Don't know that it'll work from Instagram because I think you usually have to do that from the phone to register a new account on Instagram. But it is available. So if that was something you wanted to do, I know Instagram is very good for growing your brand awareness visually. You guys have interesting things that happen when you're out in the field. You can take a picture and just kind of share a glimpse of your world, and that's a good way to engage people and it is part of that inbound marketing philosophy where you have that engagement rather than just using social media to blast, open houses and all of that other information. Okay, oh good, you already have the domain, yes, excellent. So now, Facebook. Click that and open up. It will ask you to sign in. You do want to sign in to your personal one because you have to have a Facebook profile, whether or not you use it, in order to create a page because the pages are tied to the profiles. So let me think that's my password. There we go. Okay. So it's logged in here. Oh, don't care. Logged in here, and the two things I'm going to talk about for Facebook are pages and groups. Groups are where you can kind of create the little community around and interact with, and it's something where you can kind of control who's the members, who aren't. Groups are one way that people are kind of currently gravitating to as opposed to the pages for interaction, just because people tend to get involved more in those. So let me, and they can be closed or private, or they can be open. But we're going to actually start with pages because you do want to still have a page, even if you're trying to focus efforts on groups. To create a page, oops, that's not what I wanted. This is one that we managed. So this is what we're going to be aiming to create. I'm going to go back. From this section, you click on More. It's going to take you to, you guys aren't going to have as many pages as I've created over the years, but you just click on Create a Page. You can do local business or place. That's what I would recommend because they do have a way, once you create a page, so I'm bringing that page back up, to get, I may need to actually open that in a window where I'm not logged in. Hang on a second. Where you can see ratings for groups. Oh, I know what it is. Go to the parent group page and see if that works. Yeah, because you'll see, nope, that's not it. There we go. Because you'll see that there's ratings for that people can leave you. So it's a good, because that is another element to the factors that go into your search rank. So you do want to cultivate this type of feedback, whether that's here, whether that's on Google reviews, which I kind of recommend that over Facebook. Again, brownie points for playing in their ecosystem. But yeah, so let me close out of that. To create the page, you do this, you'll pick your category. They have an entire real estate category. So you just kind of go through the process and it'll walk you through step by step. And that will include things like picking a cover photo, picking a headshot, or in this case, I would recommend using a logo. Yes, this is being recorded. I made sure to do that. Just because, like I said, I do get this question a lot, And social media help like this is not something our tech department can walk you through because it's not our sites. And they do update how things are. For example, when we get to the Google business thing in a second, they recently have changed how a lot of that is set up. I think they made it a lot easier, but I haven't actually gone through the process. So we'll be doing that together. But general things for social media, when you're thinking about your profiles, the important thing is to keep your branding consistent. A lot of people that I know that have businesses or bloggers that I follow, their headshot is going to be exactly the same thing here as it is on their Twitter, their Instagram, their Snapchat, Facebook, and all of that. Just because with all the different usernames, you saw me when I was trying to pull up the parent group for this Star Wars Costuming Club's page, is I had to look under Mando Mercs, I had to look under Mandalorian Mercs, which is where I found them. So if somebody's just looking and doing a search for a name, they're going to want to be able to tell right away if they've already found you on another social media site that it's the same person they're looking for as opposed to being something not quite what they were expecting to follow. So, and having little details like that really help subconsciously build that trust in your brand, because it's, hey, they're consistent across wherever their presence is, and that really gets noticed. Versus having different contact information. You don't want to make people think when it comes to contacting you or finding you or trying to engage with you on social media. Easiest way to not make them think, visual cues like this. Okay, so that's how you create a page. Creating a group is pretty similar. Whoops, did not mean to do that. So we'll go here and click on groups, and you click on create a group, give it a name. You can add people to it. So if you've got past clients that have connected with you on social media, or even people that, a great idea for boosting social media engagement would be maybe to create a group for your first-time home buyers, where they can kind of, either help each other or ask questions, because a lot of times you're going to be answering the same question over and over again. But by kind of building that little community, you can advertise of, this is how I help my first-time home buyers. Is I have a private Facebook group that you can be added to, where you can ask questions, get help, and engage with others, and where it's kind of like an invite only. So then it becomes something that's like, dude, I want to be part of that invite only. And so that's one way you can do group. You could also do an open group where anyone can join. It's up to you. I'm trying to remember if you can change it after the fact. I think you can. But yeah, this is where you do privacy, secret, closed, or public. Closed means that if I did a search and I wasn't already part of the group, I could still find the group and click a join button to request access. I'm trying to think if there may be one I need to do that on. Hang on, let me check. I have way too many groups. Okay, no. There is actually one I need to do that on, so I'll show you how that works in a second. Secret is only members of the group can see and find posts. So if I was doing a search and you had the group marked as secret, it wouldn't even come up in search results. So that's really like the elite of the elite. I would recommend going closed or public, depending. You can add the group to the favorites. That's where it was showing up over on this left-hand side when I was in my main Facebook feed. Give it a name. Really straightforward, and you're done. So let's go find the one that I need to that may actually wind up being a private group. Oh, no. Oh, I think it may actually be a secret group. Because, yeah, I can't get into it. So, yeah, she actually has that set up as a secret group. But the way it would work is, let me go to one of the groups that I've got. It'll say joined up here. So people, if you add somebody, then want to leave, it's very easy for them to leave. You can, this joined button will be a join button where they can request access if it's a closed group like this is. All right, so that's Facebook. Next thing we're going to do is Google Business. So the way that's going to work is, I'm actually going to do this. Google. They've rebranded a bunch of their things that used to be, you'd have Google Maps, Google Places, Google this, Google that. It's all now Google My Business, one login, one thing to go through. So clicking on that, start now. Let's do, you search for your name, for your company name. So I guess for you guys it would be and I think our realty, maybe real estate. So it's like none of these match. I'm going to change just so that way you can kind of go through this on yours, Maria, since we're using you as my example. So that way I'm not claiming your listing because I don't want to do that. So do that. That is our new. So you can click if your address comes up, you click here and it'll take you through the process to verify it. Since that's already been verified, I'm going to have to kind of do something a little different. So you click on add your business, put in your business name, you go through this. It's going to walk you through the process of creating that listing. Now, what the Google Business pages do, let me switch gears here. Is because I do have a page thing set up here. Yeah, because your Google Plus is what it is. It'll guide you, and your ultimate goal is to get this page itself set up. And from here, you'll be able to people will be able to leave you articles, but reviews. So you can kind of cultivate them through here. I need to build this out a little bit more so where you can get there. And it's going to look a little bit different for you being in the back end versus doing something different. But that's how you get started with the Google My Business, and they'll walk you through that step. Other platforms. Twitter is very easy. I like how easy theirs is. For those of you that might have a private one, I would recommend maybe creating just one that's solely for use by the company. There are actually people that I'm trying to think who it is that I follow that I was getting the same updates from him as well as his company. So if some people follow you individually, they may not necessarily want to follow the company, but you can show the same thing on both. There's no worries about that. In our platform, you're only able to hook in Facebook and Twitter for the social media scheduler, but it's very easy to also post to the other ones as well. You're only able to hook in one account of each. The reason for that is so that way you're not posting to a bunch of accounts, because then that could get your accounts shut down as being spammy. But we do have, so let me bring my non-logged in window back up. Going to Twitter, this is what you're going to see. You just click here to sign up, put your first and last name, and that could be put the email in there, and then it'll ask you to put for the username. Yeah, because the Twitter username is not going to have any spaces in it. Like I just typed the BB&W company name. It's on the next page that it asks you to pick whatever your name is, and then you've pretty much created your account. Let me, since I'm logged in here, is once you log in, you'll be able to do a cover here. I would recommend using the same cover on Twitter, on Facebook. Again, it's that visual branding consistency. Excuse me. And you can do a headshot. So to kind of show that solidarity with the other group that we were using as an example, if I go to our profile page, you'll see it's the same picture that we had up on the previous page as well. So that way, and use the same logo. This is a nonprofit group versus, doing a business, but I'm kind of applying the same strategies here visually. So there you go. That's Twitter. Twitter is extremely straightforward. I would focus, if you're going to be learning a platform, if you're not already familiar with it, I would focus mainly on Facebook and Twitter, just because right now that's where the bigger market share is for things. There is one of the biggest growing demographics right now on Facebook are going to be your 35 plus, 40 plus groups, because there are more of the older generations getting on Facebook to reconnect with family, old high school friends from high school even back then. So if one of the markets that you target are the senior folks, you do want to be on Facebook, just because, since they've got the millennial grandkids, they're trying to help them. They want to stay connected, and that's where the connections are tending to happen. Millennials, if that's where you're going, Twitter definitely, just because it's a good way to get things going further. Because I'm going to switch back to mine real quick, just because there's better examples on it. if I can remember my password. Okay, so you've got, actually this is a very good point. I'm going to skip the point I was trying to make. I'm going to make this point here. Video right now is the big thing, because you notice how immediately this kind of just distracted me from the point I was going to make. Social media platforms want it. Facebook does autoplay videos, where they play like this without sound, because you'll only get the sound if you click on it. Instagram recently updated to be able to do video. Twitter just did. It's very big right now, and so it is something that if you haven't considered doing it for your business, I definitely would. Remind me in a second, because I'll kind of take you down that rabbit hole, but I'm going to get back to the point I was making here as far as some of the benefits to being on Twitter. It's a really good way, let me go to my profile real quick, to engage an audience, because you can see how many, they give you some nice little analytics here. I'm going to click this to see what my top tweets were. The way it works is if I share something, only the people that are following me are going to be able to see it, unless one of my followers retweets it on their profile, because then it's not just my followers, but it's theirs as well. So it has the ability to just kind of balloon out when it comes to sharing something. That's how things go viral, is generally Twitter's involved somehow. But you can see how many times somebody saw it, how many times somebody actually engaged with it, whether that's responding or clicking a link to see it. And this is, I mean, I'm not really actively trying to do this profile, but you can see, you know, how many retweets you've had. So, you know, I potentially had a bunch of people that saw whatever, you know, these posts were on March 6th, outside of just the people that are interested in seeing what I share on social media. And the thing about social media is you want to give a lot more than you get, if that makes sense. And what I mean by that is I don't just share, I use this kind of as the pipeline one for me. It's, I don't just share our articles, I share articles that I know are going to be helpful to other people. So you kind of want to do the same thing. And that's what Twitter just has a lot of really good marketing applications that if used strategically, you can do that. And we do have an ebook on social media that does cover some of those best practices of that. But that way you can kind of see some of the stats. Likes are people also engaging with your post as well, people replying to things that you send out. Okay, so shifting back to the video rabbit hole, let's go down that. Yeah, okay, I'm going to switch back to the other profile I was on just so you can kind of see, because we use it to broadcast some of the things from our events. And you don't have to have fancy equipment. You can record on your phone. There's an app called Periscope. Let me change this back to the other one. Okay, and we're going to go back to our profile just because that's where it was. So you may have noticed a second ago that we had this right here. This is actually a video that somebody could go to and watch. Live broadcast from one of the charity events that we did, you know, on the 31st. You know, we've done broadcasts, let me go further back here, from, oh, yeah, from one of our armor parties where we show people how to make armor. You guys can use this to do an open house tour, or you can record yourself answering questions. You do have to have the app on your phone. Luckily, it's really easy to use. So it's periscope.tv. And videos are really awesome because you can repurpose them in so many ways. For example, the one we're recording right now is going to be on our YouTube channel later. From there, that gives us something to share on social media. We can link to sections of the video. After we edit it or do anything else to the video, we can link back to that on in our help area. We can write blog posts over it. We can add it to a page as content. There's a lot of things you do just from one video, just from one. And most of the videos that you'll do, if you do like Periscope or something like that, they don't have to be an hour long like this class. And honestly, it is a lot to kind of sit through an hour-long video versus a 2 to 5 minute video is usually that really nice sweet spot for engagement or for people to watch. That's why cat videos and things like that are so popular. They're not an hour long. They're short. They're funny. They're engaging at it. But with Periscope, you record on your phone, and you have kind of two options. Within the settings of Periscope, you can set it to where the recording's going to stay on your phone, or it gets saved to your phone's memory. Got a little ahead of myself. The way Periscope works is you have to have a Twitter account for Periscope because they're owned by the same company. So the good news is if you've got a Twitter account, you have a Periscope. You don't have to recreate or do anything for that. And when you broadcast, it's a live feed, so you do want to kind of have something already in your mind ready to speak about. Even if nobody's actively watching, there may be people that will hop on based on seeing that there's something live going on. People are curious. And you record it, and then it's going to stay on the Periscope site for 24 hours where you'll get to do a replay option. So if somebody didn't, came in towards the end of it and they wanted to see it from the beginning, they get that option, but after 24 hours, it's off Periscope's site. So option one is use the setting to save it to your phone, and then from there you can upload it to YouTube. Option two, which I use as a fail-safe in case my phone runs out of memory or something happens, is in conjunction with Periscope, there's another service called catch.me. And I recommend setting these up together. There are similar other live broadcast options that I'll get to in just a second. Meerkat is one of them. Right now, this Catch Me only works with Periscope and Meerkat. So this way you can see, here's some videos that other people have been doing. So I could click on this, watch the video. Let's go to, let me sign in here. And because it's connected to the Twitter, it's going to grab that. And then if I go to my videos, this is where you can see everything that we've done. And if I wanted to upload it to, put it on Pinterest, I could share the link, frame it in on my site if I really wanted to. That's one thing that you can do. And if you do this, I don't believe there is a way to export it to where you can get it out to YouTube, but this is still another place that you can have the video hosted and it's available for after that 24-hour period on Periscope, which is why I recommend setting this up, even if you are saving those videos to upload to YouTube later. It's just another place that if somebody's on this, they can see what's going on. We had quite a few people that picked up on watching these just because, it'll show some of the trending videos or things that are on there. So just a matter of doing that. So Periscope, catch. Facebook does have a live video feature. I haven't actually tried it yet, which is why I mention it, but I don't really go into it because I like to talk about things that I actually have hands-on experience with, just because it's a lot easier to teach it and to be able to help you guys know what to expect. Oh, by the way, when we were setting up Google before, you're also setting up your YouTube profile at the same time because, again, they're together. Just like you set up Twitter, you automatically have a Periscope profile whether or not you ever use the app. And I lost my train of thought. Oh, Facebook feed. For the live, we will be experimenting with that in a couple of weeks with the group that I've been showing you, the social media accounts that I manage for. So that'll, so I'll be able to tell you a little bit more about that in a future class. YouTube is also experimenting with a live streaming option as well. Trying to think if there's anybody else out there other than Meerkat as the other one, and I've never used Meerkat. But it's very similar. Okay, so we've covered Facebook, Twitter, videos. Any questions on anything that I've covered so far? Just because I know there's been a lot of information. Again, this is being recorded, so you'll be able to go back and watch it and kind of get it in the digestible chunks with that. Let's see, I was trying to think if there was something else. Oh, I'll show Instagram, you do have to actually do it from the app, but once you do, yeah, because you have to log in. Yeah, I'll log in as me. It's a really good way, yeah, because if you log in here, it's just going to show you what your Instagram feed is versus being able to actually create an account or post from this, because the idea is that you post from your phone. That's why you've got all the people that take the selfies. So there's not really a way to do it from the computer, so you just do that from the phone, reserve the same username. The app's really easy. It walks you through it. And then it's a matter of, take a picture and then put a comment on it. Ooh, one thing really quick that is in conjunction with social media is use of hashtags. You do want to understand how they behave within different ecosystems, because there's kind of some underlying rules to be aware of. Twitter and Instagram are probably where you're going to get and see the most use out of those. What do they really even do? Okay, this is how they behave in Twitter. If I did and this is a good way to find articles to share that aren't yours with social media. So we're going to do, actually I'm going to switch back out to my other profile, so because I'll actually do this one live. All right. There's a search button here. Hashtags are a good way to, they're conversation indicators, I guess, if you will. So if somebody did, one of my friends uses this brand hours, they talk about different things using this hashtag, and actually runs what's called a Twitter chat, where she'll ask a question, it'll have this hashtag, so anybody that is has their view set up to look for that hashtag will see the questions and can respond, and it's a really good way to engage. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, you've got, a brand hour here because she does that with it. some people can kind of use them, so it's not, all this isn't her information. I'm trying to find the one from couple, yeah. Like what they'll do is you'll see there'll be, here's a question, and then somebody can do an answer to it. And that's one way hashtags can be used. What the best way if you're trying to do a list, so if I did hashtag inbound marketing, this is going to pull up anybody that is putting that hashtag in their posts. So I can see, this one is not in English, which is fine. There's that one. Yeah, so if I wanted to, I could click on this. I don't follow him. Oh, that's probably not the best link then. Okay, that's an old. Let me find a link that'll actually work. So here's one that, I'll follow the link. I really like the article. I want to share it, and I do recommend you actually click through the link, make sure it is what you think it is, and don't just retweet or share. Because with the one that you just saw previous, had I done that, I would have looked a little weird if somebody actually clicked on it to try to follow through. So always know what you're sharing. But I'm just kind of glancing through this real quick. Yeah, this I think would be a good article to share. So what I'll do is I will retweet so my followers can see what he shared. So do that. And you can even add a comment if you wanted to, or you can just retweet like that. That's why having, oh, I just realized I did not spell inbound correctly. That could explain a lot of things. There we go. Let's try it with the right thing. Correct spelling is very helpful because, yeah, you'll see things like the HubSpot, which are the guys that talk about it. You'll see accounts, so you could find new accounts to follow because I've got it there in my social media profile there. Here are some headlines. So I would read this. Let it go through. Double check the article. If I liked it, I could hit retweet, and then it would all go out to my followers. Good for curation. Hashtags work kind of the same way on Instagram and to a lesser degree on Facebook. With Facebook, you need to be aware that usually the hashtags only work if you're following them and your friends are using them. There's not really a way to cross-index the way Twitter does. So I really wouldn't be too concerned with using them on Facebook. Twitter, I would. I wouldn't use any more than 2 in a post usually, just because, I mean, more than that, there is only one word in this guy's post that is not, and to me that just looks spammy. Twitter kind of feels the same way with it. So I'd pick maybe your 1 or 2 top ones and do that, and then you could also reshare the same information over and over again and change out the different hashtags if you want. And it's actually recommended that you do things like that on Twitter because the feed is very much what's happening right now, right this second. So something that was shared before can get moved down the list, and so somebody may not see it initially. So that's why you'll see people, if you follow them, sometimes share the same thing multiple times in their Twitter feed, but it's not, well, the good ones, it's not back to back to back to back to back, because there is a time limit that you have to have between the same exact tweet. So changing the hashtag would be a good way if you did want to share the same article back to back. Don't recommend it. But sharing it, you know, over the course of multiple days, it may be at different times, but interspersed between other types of posts and other things that you found, that is the way to go. So the other one that hashtags work real well on is Instagram. Let me see. Instagram is really interesting because it's the more hashtags, the better. It's a hashtag party on Instagram. So that's a good way to get your pictures and your visual marketing, because any pictures you take are going to be part of your identity online, business, personal, whatever. And it is okay to show a little bit of the personal side on your business. There's a lot of books and a lot of articles that you can get on the internet for free about how to grow your brand and your business through Instagram. But yeah, as many hashtags as you want to throw on there on Instagram, you're good to go. It's just how the culture there developed. So that's kind of my spiel on Instagram and hashtags. Let me see. Oops. We do also have some other classes here that are getting started and are getting results, and we do have other information. So the question that I just had is, can you control who posts on your page? Yes, you can. To a degree. You do have the ability to remove posts the same way you do for your personal wall on your profile, so on Facebook. So if I go to my personal profile and there's something here, like I could delete, you know, or hide the post from my timeline if I wanted to. I forgot they haven't called it a wall in years. That tells you how long I've been on Facebook. Okay. But for the page, if I didn't want if somebody posted, because they can post to a page, but again, I have the ability to delete from page if it's something that I didn't want them to post. If somebody's actually posting to your page and it's either relevant or, you know, contribution to the type of brand and the conversations you're trying to generate on social media, which the goal of having these social media presences is to demonstrate expertise, help people build trust and connect with you, and to try to get them to your website as well. As you're filling out all of these social media profiles, it's going to ask you for your domain and what your website is. Put that in there. I've seen a lot of people that they skip that step for whatever reason, and it's the goal of social media is to get people on your site, to fill out those lead capture forms, or just to contact you. And some people, especially millennials, would rather do that through social media or, you know, a text. I'm a millennial, and I'll admit to doing a bunch of text, but to me it's still a little foreign to do business contact over text. But it works in some markets and with some buyers. It just depends on who you're trying to target and what they respond to. But yeah, you do have moderation rights over your page. If you own the group, you also have moderation rights over the group as well. Yeah, and with Twitter and Instagram, people can't post to your profile because it doesn't work the same way Facebook does. You just have straight feeds on those. So that's how that works. Right. Yeah. Social media is one of my favorite topics, in case you guys didn't realize that. So thanks for letting me yak on about it. But yeah, if you ever have any questions or need any help, social media wise, this is kind of the forum for Pipeline that you can bring those questions to, just because, you know, I'll be able to answer them, or I'm going to be also training somebody else to teach these classes as well. That way you guys can get, you know, not just my perspective all the time, but some other perspective as well and ideas. And of course, if he doesn't know, we work as a team and he can get the questions to me. You can email training@Pipeline ROI as well, and we can get you those answers too, even if it is directing you to maybe an article or something on the internet to kind of walk you through the steps you need, because again, with all the social media stuff, our support staff really can't show you how to do it or walk you through how to do it, because it's not our site and not really within our control. All right. Well, this has been a really fun and awesome class. You guys have a great day, and don't hesitate to email us if you need us, okay? Thanks.